You're taking too long. You're too. Hi. After we dealt with some runes, it's time to finally battle with some cats. Yeah, I've been on a super heavy Deltarune brain rot. Is Chris and the gang permanent? I mean, pretty much everybody I added here are permanent. If I don't have them here, I probably have like some other sort of representation or something. Then again, I have thought about changing my intro into something else, something more static, and like instead of like clogging the entire screen with like GIFs, maybe I could like make, I don't know, like an animated intro where I just put a bunch of like plushies of like the things that I like in like the corner or something like that, something of the sort, you know. I haven't caught up with ZL stuff in so long, don't worry. I have not beaten Socrates. And I probably should. I probably should actually go beat Socrates, especially now that Mewton is here. Ralsei plushie would be funny. Oh, that's true. I could add that like $32 Ralsei plushie. 11-hour eye light, hell yeah. Deltarune is just too fun. I don't know what to tell you. Deltarune is just too fun. It's just too good. It's also great that I actually don't have to edit too much of the Deltarune stream, because there are a lot of sections where it's just like, yeah, this entire section I don't even need to cut anything, because the game is just constantly so engaging that I don't even need to like cut down awkward moments or something like that, because like the pacing is just perfect. Like I only really need to cut down some very few stuff, like repeated fights or like backtracks that leads to nothing or stuff like that, whatever. Or like there are some stuff where I just keep on talking about something that doesn't really matter or whatever. Like those stuff I cut. But most of the time I really don't need to cut most of the things, because most of the things in Deltarune is just so entertaining that it's like, yeah, I don't even need to edit any of these. I'm drawing Gerson right now. I'm old! Gerson's the GOAT, man. Gerson's so good. I hope you get through Luza soon. Yeah, probably next year. I low-key want to beat Roaring Knight. Go do it then. All right, hold on. Let me move here real quick. Hi, I have Sonic hair. Oh man, I've been way too much into Deltarune, man. Deltarune's so good. Deltarune's so good. You're too blue. Deltarune made me appreciate Gerson so much. Yeah, I mean, Gerson has always been a cool character, but Deltarune Gerson is like so fucking good. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I absolutely adore the like character archetype that is like old badass like dudes or grandmas or whatever. Like those kind of character archetypes are absolutely always my favorite. Like those like super old retiree hero or whatever that like ends up being super badass or something like that. Those stuff are like, those are always cool. Like, I can never get enough of those sort of character archetype. They're so good. One of the first, actually I don't know about one of the first, but like I guess one that like really sticks to me is Necrodancer Arya. Arya from Necrodancer this is basically also a badass grandma. Just like in Necrodancer, if you don't know, this is the second hardest character in the game, where you only have like you cannot make a single mistake with this character. She is quote unquote the worst character, but takes like, which makes it mean like you need insane amount of execution to play Arya. And it is just so cool to play through the entire game with Arya, because it's like, yeah, this is like the badass grandma that really doesn't need anything, doesn't need health, doesn't need weapons or any of that, and can go through the entire crypt by herself. And she's just like this old grandma with a dagger to her heart. Like, that's so badass. Old people are cool, that's so true. I'm old. Bum, bum. But yeah, Gerson is the GOAT, man. Gerson's so good. Did you beat the Roaring Knight? Yeah, I did. I returned to it on the second stream and came back to fight the Roaring Knight again. Which I guess is a massive spoiler if you haven't played the new chapters of Deltarune. Yeah, maybe I should stop talking, actually. If you just came here being like, oh yeah, Battlecats, I haven't played the new Deltarune chapter, and then here I am talking about like one of the main fucking boss, and it's like, what? what do you mean? It's like, what do you mean, Gerson? I'm so sorry if you have not played the new chapters. I probably should put like a spoiler warning or whatever. I'm sad not a lot of people choose to continue walking left in that one segment with the old man. Oh yeah, I did actually try that on my own. It is kind of funny. It gave you like 1 HP. I have no idea, as I never played any Deltarune. You should play it. It's so good. The Knight, isn't that the Papyrus secret boss battle? Yeah, that's true. Finally meeting Papyrus. Man, I want to talk so much about Deltarune, but yeah, I probably shouldn't spoil too much. It's been like more than 10 days since chapter release. You should expect spoilers at this point. Yeah, absolutely, but like, you know, I think it's fair if it's like, this is a Deltarune stream, and therefore, you know, if you come in here expecting Deltarune, you would have to kind of expect to be spoiled about Deltarune. But like, this isn't a Deltarune stream, this is a Battlecats stream. And if you just happen to come into a Battlecats stream not expecting Deltarune spoilers, it's like, yeah, that's kind of my fault. Like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been, like, people probably wouldn't expect like a Deltarune spoiler in a Battlecat stream. I've only seen the TV guy and people typing ass, so true. Put a big text of Deltarune spoiler talk and just talk about it for a while. Ah, man. I mean, I guess I can do that. I don't know. I'm not even sure what would I talk about. What else would I talk about? Like, yeah, I can use this. Hold on. There we go. I'm just gonna put this text right now. Talking about Deltarune spoilers right now. So, Deltarune. Deltarune Battlecats are practically the same thing. Yeah, that's true. There's always like, you know, like the heroes and the prophecy and stuff. That's basically the same game. It is kind of funny because I technically do put like a massive fucking spoiler in my thumbnail. Like if you see my video thumbnail, it's literally just like big spoiler. But, you know, technically speaking, if you don't know what my thumbnail is, you wouldn't really get spoiled. I mean, I guess you would get spoiled on like how Tenna looks like or whatever, but like you already know there's gonna be a TV guy in chapter 3. I don't think that's really a big deal. But like the character on the right, yeah, I guess that's a big fucking spoiler, but you wouldn't know who that is unless you actually check the video, right? So I don't think it's that big of a spoiler. It's like if you see the Roaring Knight in the thumbnail, you probably would be like, what the hell is that? I guess it's an enemy? I don't know. Like, you wouldn't see that and be like, oh shit, that's a Roaring Knight. You probably see that as like, what the hell is that? I don't know what that is. Roaring Knight final boss no hit 100% type thumbnail. I do want to, like... I have been replaying the Roaring Knight battle once in a while. It is a really fun battle, though. It is a really good battle. I don't think I'm gonna do like no hit or something, because there are like extra dialogue. Well, not dialogue, extra flavor text. If you do no hit on Roaring Knight, do you know about that? Like if you do Deltarune Roaring Knight no hit dialogue. Like there's this. Why is this not loading? Chris cuffed. The enemy slowly tilted its head. It's so funny. I'm sorry, I moved the text a little bit. Like this image is so funny because it's this only shows up if you actually do the entire battle without getting hit. I think without except like the last one, except the last attack, I think, or something like that. Yeah, Chris literally is just like, dude, no. It's like, nah, pack it up, dude. Just wrap it up. Please wrap it up. It's so good. Deltarune and Battlecats both have titans and cats. That's true. That's true. It's still so funny too on how they handle Mike, where it's like, what, like you make people think Mike is a cat. It's like you just see pink and yellow and say it's friend. It's like, okay, Toby Fox, you're getting cooked. Wrap it up, bro. I still wonder like what the hell is up with Chris's deal. I mean, I guess that's like obviously in like everybody's mind. Maybe I should make it like another Deltarune video. Cause no, you know, I had a video idea for Deltarune, but then I forgot. What was it? I want to talk about something, but then I forgot. Shit, what was it? Why did I suddenly forget? Oh, no, I have a theory. I have a theory for Deltarune that I kind of want to talk about. Mainly regarding the prophecy, the Deltarune prophecy. Mainly regarding the prophecy for Deltarune, because there's been a lot of like speculations or theories going about, oh, Susie's not actually part of the prophecy, and it's supposed to be Noelle, and like Susie is going to like break the prophecy, or like Snowgrave is actually the prophecy, or something like that. I actually have my own theory, which is that the Deltarune prophecy will always occur no matter what, but the way the prophecy occurs can be different. And this is something that we can already see in Undertale, actually. Like, in Undertale, we already have the Deltarune prophecy, which Gerson talks about. And it's kind of interesting because what the hell is this? It's kind of interesting because like you see the prophecy here. He said like, what? Where's there? Okay, whatever. Legend has it, the angel who has seen the surface will descend from above and bring us freedom. Lately, the people have been taking a bleaker outlook, calling that winged circle the angel of death, harbinger of destruction, waiting to free us from this mortal realm. So, the interesting thing about this Undertale Deltarune prophecy is that the prophecy occurs in both pacifist and genocide, right? Like, the prophecy does happen, but it gets fulfilled in both pacifist and genocide, which is a completely different route, completely different ending. But technically, the prophecy gets fulfilled either way. One is where the monster actually gets freedom to the surface, and genocide is where the monster gets quote-unquote free from mortal realm. And I feel like this is probably going to be the same in Deltarune too, where the Deltarune prophecy will always happen, but how you interpret the prophecy will be different regarding of your action. So quote-unquote the ending is the same, is that the prophecy will always be fulfilled. How it's fulfilled is different. I think that's my theory, basically. Gerson's just based, so true. Black Muppet is a spoiler? Oh, you mean the thumbnail? Yeah. That's a very massive spoiler. What is it I want to talk about again? I suddenly forgot. Susie joins your party last. Yeah, that is also another thing that is interesting, because there was a part of the prophecy that I think like says like at last the girl at last was the girl, and then like some other prophecy mentions that the second party is the girl, and people are like, wait, is this like supposed to be two different characters in the prophecy or something? That much I don't really know. Bro, you Muslim? I'm not Muslim. What makes you think I'm Muslim? What? The snowman is left behind and you can't kill a ghost. All of your theories are wrong. Goodbye. I mean, I don't know about that. Because in the end of genocide, like, everybody, like, the whole world is basically destroyed, right? Like, it's not even just the monsters. Like, the whole world gets destroyed. In Pacifist, you're technically still bringing the part of the snow. That's part of him. Noelle joins you last by technicality. That is true too. But yeah, it is that is my current theory, which is that the prophecy will always occur, and that's what Toby means by Deltarune having one ending, which is that it ends with the prophecy occurring, but how the prophecy occurs is different. Another thing that is also, I think, worth mentioning, one of the prophecy that we see in the Sanctuary was, where is it? Why is there no images of that? This one. The Lord of Screens cleaves red by blade. This is a prophecy about Tenna, right? This is a prophecy about how Tenna gets fucking destroyed by the Roaring Knight, which occurs. But it doesn't tell you what happens after. Because if you recruited everybody, Tenna's fine. Tenna gets fixed up. So even though the prophecy says like, yeah, Tenna gets his shit on by the Roaring Knight, but what happens afterwards can be different. The prophecy only specifically mentions that Tenna gets cleaved. Doesn't actually say that Tenna gets killed specifically. So the prophecy tells you what happens. The prophecy doesn't tell you what's not going to happen, and I think that's interesting. The superposition of a snowman. Hey, I mean, yeah. Does the prophecy in the sanctuary mention Ralsei? Yes, they mention the Prince from the Dark. I don't think they mention anything that happens to Ralsei, unless that's part of the like last prophecy that Susie destroyed. But the only thing that was mentioned about the heroes were one is the girl, one is the Prince from the Dark, and one is the cage. And then what happens to the heroes I don't think was ever shown on screen, except for the girl finds love, and even then we don't know if that's the same girl or not yet. How much time do you need to mark with Deltarune spoiler when there's Deltarune spoilers? And I don't know, man. I'm just speaking my thoughts currently. Most of the fandom thinks Ralsei is Chris' headband, but there's a theory that he's actually missing green crayon. I feel like people usually tend to go with the green crayon more. I don't buy the green crayon. I like it. Like Ralsei has a pink horn. Like Ralsei straight up has a pink horn. What makes you think that the green crayon is a more likely candidate than the headband? When the headband is like clearly part of Ralsei's horn. Like that is so much more likely than fucking green crayon. What? And not to mention, Ralsei's not even that green anymore after he took off his hoodie. Because Joe and Ralsei's room is full of green crayons. It's because a part of the green crayons in the house was missing. And I think Ralsei tried to emulate that by saying like, hey, you missed the green crayon, and therefore I'm going to put a bunch of green crayons in the Dark World room. That's how I see it. Why is the green crayon missing? I don't fucking know. But at the same time, the headband is also missing. So, like... I feel like if both are missing, but like one is clearly more representative of Ralsei, I feel like, you know... I thought the second hero was a monster. Yeah, second hero was a monster, yeah. There's no prophecies about Tenna that I know of, which is strange since it would tell you anything after. Wait, what? There's also no prophecies about Tenna that I know of, which is strange since... Wouldn't it tell you anything after that? Either it's Toby holding a finger to your face and goes shush or something off. Wait, what do you mean? This is the prophecy to Tenna. The Lord of the Screens cleave red by blade. That's about Tenna. That's about Tenna getting fucking shitted on. that's partially, some people say it's like, that's why Ralsei is like okay with Tenna's game, because Ralsei know that Tenna's going to die. Ralsei's like, Susie, like, he's about to get fucking destroyed. Let's just play with him. Ralsei's the boss, so true. Thing is, if you leave the Dark World in Chapter 2 and... If you leave the Dark World in Chapter 2 and Ralsei is still there. That is, yeah, but it also feels like something where... It's like, okay. Like, think of Lancer. Like, Lancer also just kind of like comes in and out of your inventory like fucking whenever. And you see sometimes Lancer's just in the castle town, and then suddenly in chapter 3 he's in your inventory, or sometimes for some reason he's in your house, and then you can get like 5 Lancers in the gacha system for some reason, and then like he's just somehow also magically in the castle town immediately after chapter 3 if you go back to castle town 2. Like, Lancer's placement is also all over the place. It's really it's basically about as messy as Ralsei, and if you are confused about Ralsei's placement, you should also get confused about Lancer's placement, because Lancer is also all over the place. Granted, Lancer is definitely much more comedic, so it makes sense to be like, haha, it's just the power of funny. Because Toby Fox does that sometimes. Toby Fox definitely puts a lot of like, well, they're just there for funny, or they can do that because it's funny. Toby Fox definitely do that sometimes. And like, so it definitely applies more to Lancer. But it does, like, you know, it does bring up the confusion of like, well, you know, Lancer can do that, maybe Ralsei can do that too. Lancer's just that goated. Yeah, that's true, that's true. Why was Lancer not a stone? Lancer did turn into a stone at the end of chapter 3. Except if you roll him on the gacha, which in that case you can actually get multiple of them in your inventory and they're not turned into stone. And at the same time, you can see the stoned Lancer and your own Lancer in your inventory. I don't fucking know, man. 5 Lancers would just be 5 different ace cards. I guess so. But I feel like different kinds of... I don't know. It's possible, I guess. I feel like the gacha Lancer is specifically a bug. I don't think you're supposed to have them by chapter 4. I don't know, man. Are you a believer of the Death Knight theory? I mean, at this point, there's really only 2 possible candidates of the Knight, right? Like, it has to be either Death or fucking Carol. Like, that's our only 2 candidates, I feel like, at this point. Like, I guess it's like, people say it's like, oh, it's impossible for like Carol to be on like opening the Dark World Church or whatever, but like, frankly, she really could just tell other people to open it because she's the freaking mayor, first of all, and second of all, like, it's the same thing with Chris on chapter 2. Chris is the one that opened the Dark World for chapter 3. Chris is not the Knight, but Chris is somehow working with the Knight in one way or another, right? Like, the Knight doesn't have to be the one that opens the Dark Fountain. It could very well be somebody else. Granted, yes, the Knight ends up being in the church, like, when Susie and Chris is already there. But at the same time, it's fucking Mayor Holiday. If you recall in chapter 1, when you talk to the Deltarune dog prisoner, when you talk to these guys on the prison, they mentioned that Mayor Holiday or the mayor was the one that like swiped them off, and the mayor was like super fast or something, or some shit like that. Like, they can't even see the mayor in the shadows or something, or some shit like that, which kind of, you know, says that like the mayor has some insane super speed or whatever. So it's not super out of the question that like she's just that fast. The Roaring Knight group chat, the WhatsApp, the fucking evil WhatsApp group chat, the Wi-Fi bunker. It's so good. From what I understand, Darkness only turn into stone if they lose purpose in the fountain that's making them. Lancer being a player given purposing for Rule's weird love triangle. Rules, yeah. Rules does stay for a long amount of time for some reason, yeah. Lancer and Rules, I feel like, will appear in every single chapter somewhere. Doesn't appear in chapter 4, though. I mean, I guess it like back in Castletown, but you know. The Knight is the pastry who's desperate for relevance, Susie opens one in chapter 4, so it's not just the Knight that can do it. Yeah, that is true, too. I don't know. there is maybe like a chance that Alvin was somehow also working with the Knight, because Alvin definitely knows more than he lets on. He even mentions about like Gerson, and he definitely sets up Gerson in chapter 4 too, so for some reason, right? So it's possible that Alvin was the one that opened like chapter 4 Dark World, and he's working with the Knight for some reason. I don't know. What do we know about Carol? Carol would not be aura farming like how she is. She's too stern. Well, Des seems to be more like a teenager, so could probably be in character, I guess. But that's kind of really guessing though. And there's also some people that says like, oh, the Knight sword kind of looks like a bat. Like the Knight sword, when they pull the sword, it looks like a bat, and there's like a cracked bat, therefore it's like Des's bat. But here's the thing. Carol is also very possessive with Des's items, right? So it's not really impossible that Carol's also just using Des's stuff as a weapon for the Dark World, you know? It's like, just because it's Des's stuff doesn't mean Carol can't use it. I want to see what other little characters can do in Dark Worlds. Undyne seems to have the same power, so Sans, Toriel, and Asgore would be cool to see. Yeah, it would be pretty interesting. It is also really funny to see in like the end of chapter 4 where you see Undyne just having a bunch of spears on the ground, like she's trying to learn how to use the spear. It's pretty funny. Then again, you see Sans in the Light World, he's already fucking teleporting. Sans in chapter 4 is already teleporting, so we'll see about that. Let's talk about 14-4 meanwhile. Who is the Roaring Knight? Yeah, this is more important, I'm sorry. My favorite theory is that any Darkner can be in any Dark World as long as they have a special role within it. Yeah, I guess that is sort of possible too. I mean, it does kind of also make me wonder about like the chapter 4, you know how like half of the characters or half of the Darkners in chapter 4 got turned into stone, and then when Susie opens up the Dark World, the other half of the Darkner gets turned into stone. It's like, what's the deal with that? My friend said that it could be Chris and Carol could be working for the Knight, who is also working for someone else. I guess Knight could be working for fucking Gaster. I don't know. I feel like Alvin's clean, but he has huge suspicion and kind of knows what's going on. Yeah, Alvin's... I wouldn't say Alvin's clean. Maybe Alvin's not clean of being the Knight, but I think Alvin knows something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not working with the Knight, because I feel like if Alvin's working with the Knight, then Alvin would be like... Well, Alvin would be like in the WhatsApp group chat with Chris, you know? Or maybe it is possible that they're both working with the same person, but they don't actually know who else is working with them. I don't know. But I guess maybe Alvin is unknowingly somehow involved. Because, yeah, Alvin doesn't seem to know why Chris wants to go to the bunker. And seems to be kind of just concerned for Chris in that regard. So maybe Alvin isn't in the Roaring Knight, the evil fountain-ass Roaring Knight group WhatsApp chat, you know? The dent in the sword disappears 30 seconds later. It does appear again after you break it if you win against them. Banging sermon, my man. This body is the Knight. Her mind is in the code somewhere. Her soul is somewhere too, I guess. I guess another theory that I also have is that, you know how in the scene with let me see. Chapter 4, Noel House, Chris. The one where, fucking course. I want to find one where Chris is in here. The one here where you snoop on Chris listening to the phone. The phone mentions something about Chris can't go to the Dark World if they don't have a soul, I believe. Something like Chris Dark World, no soul, cannot. Something like that. So it's like possibly Chris can't go to the Dark World if they have no soul. And I do wonder if that's what happened to Des, and maybe like the Roaring Knight that we see is like Des's body without a soul for some reason, and that's why they look so weird in the Dark World, because like it's supposedly someone without a soul. I don't know. Banging sermon, my man. Assuming the text is actually Gaster, it'd be weird for the knight to be working under him as he cheers on the soul when he failed the knight fight. Yeah, but like Gaster could, like the knight could be working with Gaster, and Gaster's still just like, yo, this shit's hype as fuck. Actually, like, pop off, brother. Gaster's just chill. Doesn't it then only appear when you beat them? I think it shows up when the knight pulls the sword all the way back, but it gets off screen, I think. Like the part of the sword that is dented is like off screen, so you can't see it when they pull it off. But yeah, it appears again after Susie breaks it. The 1225 with Secret Root Gacha Machine is still confusing. Yeah, I also don't really know what's the deal with that. And something about Christensen losing hand for some reason. Which also is something that we see from Chapter 1 too. The telegram. the fucking evil fountain telegram group. Courier is the knight. It's possible. It's possible. What do you think about the Screaming Ape theory after Chapter 3 and 4? I think it's getting pretty strengthened. Who is strong enough to carry Undyne to the bunker? She was lifting cars in the middle of the street. I mean, yeah. I mean, as they say, Carol supposedly is really strong, right? Like that's the one that caught. She was the one that caught all of the dogs, the dog criminals. And the dog criminals were like, dude, like, the mayor was so fast and so scary, we had to hide from them. So, like, I feel like Carol could actually be that fucking strong. I don't know. I still wonder what's a police sacrifice supposed to mean. Yeah! What the fuck is up with that? Why were they trying to take Toriel and then ends up with Undyne? Some people mentioned that it's like, oh yeah, Toriel and Undyne are both like Undertale characters. So it's like, are they planning to go for specifically Undertale characters? Because like we also lost Onion-san. We don't get to see Onion-san at all. So it's like, did Onion-san also get taken to the bunker somehow for some fucking reason? Like, I don't know. Wait, there's gonna be a Sonic collab? Damn, I'm missing shit. Yeah, but also, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Deltarune right now. I feel like Sans is some timey-wimey shenanigans. Yeah, I mean, it is a very common big theory that Deltarune Sans is Undertale Sans, especially because of the it's raining somewhere else, and how now we have it's raining at the place where it rained being the Deltarune universe, and you know, Undertale Sans seems to be somehow trapped in Undertale for some reason or some shit like that. So it is a very common theory to say that like Deltarune Sans is Undertale Sans. Something that I also wonder is like, well, I mean, maybe like Deltarune Sans and Undertale Sans doesn't really have like the same knowledge or whatever, but it does feel weird that Deltarune Sans at the end of Chapter 4 would just fucking fuck Toriel, I guess, for some reason. Like, Sans comes off as a guy who's generally pretty wise and tries to help out as much as he can. So it feels weird to be actively suddenly being an actual annoyance at the end of Chapter 4. And it kind of makes me wonder if Sans actually has some sort of plan or like an actual good reason to be like mingling with Toriel instead of just fucking around. Because Sans sometimes kind of do those shit. Like he kind of works behind the scenes to help some other people out. So I do wonder if Sans actually have a good reason to mingle with Toriel. This was a picture of 3 drawn people who captioned "Don't forget." Yeah, and also like the whole Susie thing with the clam girl. Undertale Susie clam girl. Like this whole thing with like the goner NPC. Her name is Susie. Says the kind of troll and doesn't really do much in Deltarune though. I mean, if you see Undertale Sans on surface, he's also like that. Like, you don't really get to see Sans doing much in Undertale unless you actually like take kind of notice as like, oh yeah, he's actually like, you know, helping you give like the hot dogs and stuff for healing. And his hot dogs on Snowden, on Hotland was like really cheap. And he was like distracting Undyne on like the pacifist route or whatever. He does like very minor things behind the scenes. When you go on date with Sans in Undertale, it shows photos of him with people you don't recognize with dialogue mentioning that he seems happy. Oh yeah, I think it's at the end of Pacifist too, right? Yeah. These UT people are pissing me off. I'm the real OC Deltarune character. Carol, the homophobic mother. Even more trolly than Undertale. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, to be honest. I think it's just because like he has a better dialogues with Susie. Because like Susie is the perfect like comedy duo with Sans. I do have small speculation where Toriel asks Sans to protect Chris but fails to during the roaring or whatever, being sent to Undertale, taking a similar promise too hard and can't say no. We'll just have to see for that one. Yeah. I was wondering, is Poppy's house next to where Sans is in the light world? Wait, what? Is Poppy's house next to where Sans is in the light world? Oh yeah, I mean, obviously that has to be, right? I also wonder, because like, I wonder what happened to Papyrus actually, because at the end of sorry, not the end, at chapter 4, or rather at chapter 2, it was mentioned it's like the trousel of bones are coming closer or whatever, but in chapter 4 it says that there's no trousel or anything like that, as if like the house is just empty. And given the disappearance of Onion-san as well, and the disappearance of Undyne, I do wonder if it's like, maybe was Papyrus also kidnapped by the Knight? That's what I'm wondering. Is Papyrus also kidnapped by the Knight? Because like, the Knight tried to kidnap Undyne, and the Knight the Knight tried to kidnap Toriel. So I wonder if Sans going to Toriel is actually Sans trying to protect Toriel because Sans saw that Papyrus got taken. That's a theory that I have. maybe that's why Sans like comes to Toriel, because maybe Papyrus got taken and Sans knew like Toriel is like targeted. So Sans tried to go to Toriel's to try to protect her. Who knows? That could be it. That could be it. Collecting Undertale character, Gaster said this shit sucks ass, not make Undertale. Papyrus also in the group chat for some reason. Yeah, Papyrus is the Knight. Knight got kidnapped, Papyrus. That's so true. The Knight's gonna come out and actually talk and be like, yeah. The Eggman exists in the light world, right? He's in the car and in the house with those on the windowsill. We don't actually fully know if that's the Eggman or not. It's definitely related to the Eggman because we only get to see the interactions because of the egg. But we don't know if that's the same Eggman. Papyrus is the Eggman theory. No one mentions him by name. He has eggs in Undertale. He is behind the tree in an official merch. What? What do you mean he is behind a tree in an official merch? Oh, this? Oh my god. He is behind the tree. That's actually really funny. When Chapter 5 is coming out? Next year. I know since it was raining, Toriel hit in Sandstorm first. I guess. Well, I don't know. Maybe that part was a coincidence, and Sans took that coincidence to, like... Or maybe Sans, like, summoned the rain or some shit to stop the choir practice. I don't fucking know. Why would Papyrus speaks weird? Because he's the knight. He's faking it. He's one day is gonna be like, you've collected my 5 eggs. Yeah. The Eggman from Sonic. Oh, so true. By the way, speaking of Sonic, this is supposed to be Battlecats 14.4 discussion. The Eggman is like, I hate that hedgehog. Fuck. Oh god, I really should go into talking about actual Battlecats soon. It's almost 1 hour. Oh god. Fuck. I'm sorry, I just have way too much thoughts about Deltarune right now. Maybe I will actually... I might actually consider making the multiple prophecy theory. I do kind of want to talk about that, because I've seen a lot of people discussing about the theory about the prophecy, and I feel like I haven't seen anyone talk about, like, hey, maybe there is only one prophecy, and the prophecy will happen. It's just how you interpret the prophecy. That's what I want to talk about, and maybe I want to make a video about that? Question mark. We'll see. I guess we'll see. Have you seen the Snowgrave difference? Yes, I have actually. I thought about streaming it, but I didn't really have time or energy for it, so I kind of just didn't. I kind of just ended up watching Snowgrave by myself. I'm sorry. Congratulations, Deltaruner. You've gained enough points to face my champion. What the fuck does that mean? Okay. I guess that's enough Deltaruning for now. Let me remove this text. All right, we're finally talking about Battlecats. All right, but who's the knight in 14.4? Who's gonna open the dark fountain in 14.4? Oh my goodness, let me get a drink real quick. Oh fuck, I'm actually out of water. I might actually need to refill my water. Alright. Welcome to Battlecats. Tricked you. It's Deltarune stream. Now, okay. 14.4. It's already been released like a week ago, but, you know, I have not really touched about this at all, because fucking, obviously, Deltarune. Deltarune has consumed me. I have not touched Battlecats at all. My channel statistics has gone down significantly because of Deltarune. But, like, you know what? Fucking worth it. I fucking love Deltarune. I may have to actually make, like, a Battlecats video or something to, like, offset the viewer like decrease that I have because of Deltarune. And then after that, maybe I'll talk about the Deltarune theory again. Who fucking knows? They hated him because he played Deltarune. So true. This 14.4 discussion is gonna be like shorter than the Deltarune section. I love Deltarune. So true. But yeah, 14.4 came out last week in EN. So the thing about this page is that what we have in JP is not the same as what we have in EN. So there are a couple of things that we got in JP that we don't get in EN. In particular, the one very big thing that we don't actually see on EN it's the Sonic collab. Ponos, if you're watching, we know this because of the Ubers in the cat guide section. If you check the Ubers in the cat guide section, it clearly does not have enough space for the new Sonic Ubers that we have in JP. We only have enough for the new Iron Legion and some other little stuff. So clearly we don't have the Sonic Ubers in EN. And that begs the question, why? So I would say it was like, I have a theory, again, after talking about Deltarune theory. But, so when it comes to Sonic collab, it's a pretty fucking big deal, right? And the thing about it is that I feel like Sonic is absolutely going to come to EN. Like, there's no fucking reason for Sonic to not come to EN. So then why is this not in 14.4? For one, it's too close to Baki. Baki's just finished. And two is that we also have KR and the Korean and Taiwan version is having anniversary soon, and they're having this anniversary, the Road to Unification anniversary, and so they want to make sure that Korean and Taiwan also have this, and Korean and Taiwan is usually synced up with EN too, right? Although the anniversary isn't synced up. So it would be weird if EN gets Sonic and then Korean and Taiwan is having the ANIF, because they probably wouldn't want ANIF to clash with Sonic, right? And if you check the in-game calendar, we're also getting this on EN, not as anniversary, it's just its own event. We are getting this on EN on June 20th. You can see this on the in-game calendar. And so they're trying to sync this event up together so that we're going to have this together with Taiwan and Korean version. So then the question is, okay, so makes sense if Sonic isn't going to be immediately out yet, but why isn't it in the version at all? Like, why not just put the Sonic characters in the version and then just announce it later? Because Battlecats has been really anti-leaker recently. I don't know if you've noticed this. The past couple of updates, the Battlecats Twitter and social medias have been posting stuff that we don't even know yet in from updates that aren't released yet. They release like pictures of like Tundia's Ultra Form or pictures of like some newer Ultra Forms or newer units in their social media before the updates even drops. So I think what they're trying to do is that they see that leakers are kind of like anti-hype, and they want to keep the momentum of the hype by themselves. So they don't want to put the Sonic characters in the game files, because leakers would post them first, and they can't really stop leakers. Like, they can try to, but clearly they can't fully stop leakers. So they want to make sure that these units are not in the files, so that they would be the first to announce it, and then they would update it with the Sonic characters. I think that's what they're trying to go for. So I don't really believe that Sonic is not going to come to EN, because it makes absolutely no sense. This is a fucking massive franchise. It's fucking popular, especially in everywhere around the world. It just makes no sense for this to not come to global. So I think Sonic would absolutely come to global, but you would not see that first on leakers. You would see that first from Pono social media. That's I think that's how I see it. There's going to be a delay, but there's definitely no way they don't bring Sonic over. Yeah, it's like, there's just like, there's no fucking reason this doesn't come to global. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like, we got fucking Bikuriman, but not Sonic? Like, that is insane. Sonic absolutely will have to come to global. It makes no sense. It's free huge money. Yeah, it's literally free huge money. There's a bunch of Sonic fanboys and fangirls. that would absolutely roll for Sonic in a heartbeat and would play Battlecats in a heartbeat for Sonic. It makes no sense for this to not come to EN at all. It absolutely will. It just currently clashes with 12th anniversary for Korean and Taiwan. But yeah, that's how I see it. That's how I see it. I'm sure Sonic will come. I don't know when. I'm sure it's going to come. There's no logical reason on why this wouldn't come. Sonic is also more popular in America than Japan. I guess so, yeah. KR and Taiwan will have normal 11th anniversary. Are they? Wait, no, yeah, I think... Wait, no, 11th anniversary? Yeah, I forgot. I don't think that's this specific event, but basically this event is going to be slotted in so that EN will have something together with Korean and Taiwan. I think that's what it is, right? I don't think this is not the one that Korean and Taiwan is going to have specifically. It's just that this is going to be filled in so that EN have something while Korean and Taiwan also have something else. I heard that Sonic was literally made in Japan to appeal to Western audiences. Mario at the time was already mainly localized in Japan. That makes sense. Sonic definitely feels very Western. It's one of those characters that feels like so Western that it feels like, of course, a Western company would make this, except it's not. Ian gets fed the old slop while everyone else gets the fun. This isn't even old. Like this is pretty new. This is actually new. Like we're getting this way earlier than we should. This is supposed to be 12th anniversary. We're not even close to 12th anniversary, dude. Like this isn't even old. This has more content than the Sonic collab. This event has way more stages than Sonic has. Like Sonic is cool. But let's not act like there's any like cool Sonic stages. I mean, there's like the Tails stage. That's about it. Sonic collab only has like Sonic Gacha. That's it. It's more like 2000s mascot. Yeah. Like a quirky 2000s mascot. Anyways, so with that out of the way, so basically, I'm still going to talk about Sonic because it is part of 14.4 and I'm sure it's going to come to EN at some point. But I also do want to talk a little bit about the road to Unification in a little bit, since this is something new that we're going to get in EN. So yeah, 14.4, let me just go through everything real quick. We got a couple of new units, mainly from Sonic. Most of them are Sonic Ubers and Sonic Rares. And then we got one new Iron Legion. We got the new Sage Legend, which is Mewton. And we also get Lieutenant Cat, which we'll also get from Road to Unification. So those are that. Two new true forms. One is Pied Piper's true form, which you get from obviously the Wrath and Revenge of the Empress Cat. And also Asset's true form, which as expected only gives you that fucking tiny little butterfly. One new ultra form being Tandia, one new talent being Satoru, and one new ultra talent being Paladin. As for the enemies, it's mainly also Sonic collabs. There are a lot of new enemies in the Road to Unification stuff, but I don't want to get too deep into it. I think a lot of the stages in Road to Unification are actually kind of interesting, but I don't feel like I need to get too deep into it. I'll probably just talk about Lieutenant Cat, and that's about it. The only other new main enemy is Mewton, which we'll also get into. There's new Zero Legends, new collab stages, new Otherworld Colosseum or whatever, and new combo with Tekachi and freaking Tennis Cat, Racket Cat, which is kind of funny. I don't know what the fuck is Steel Tennis. I assume this has to be a Japanese reference because they like to do that a lot. Gacha banner, there's the Sonic banner, there's another banner that I can't show unfortunately, but it's not even in EN anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then we got the Iron Legion stuff here, the Newton medals, We got the Sonic music. I fucking love Radical. I just think Radical Highway is so cool. New user rank reward, Cataman C, Special Cat's Eye, Rare Cat's Eye, a Legend ticket at 30,000, which is pretty cool. And then explosion animation got slightly changed. The range and how explosion works is the same, but the animation of the blast is now, I guess, slightly more accurate, question mark. It is now slightly smaller, and I think people say it's kind of more accurate, so there's that at least. Oh yeah, Deltarune, can we get back to that? I'm sorry, I'm done with Deltarune for now. I've really talked enough Deltarune for a little bit. Most of the update is definitely just Sonic collab. I guess I could just mainly start with the Sonic stuff first, and then we'll move on to the non-Sonic stuff. Sonic, let me start with the non-Uber first, actually. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually remember too much about these, so I might be misremembering stuff. Okay, Sonic Cat. This is one of the funniest motherfucker in existence. Look at this animation. This guy has 18 speed. What a fucking dumbass. And the worst part is evolve form. Oh shit, look at that speed. He's running so fast. He has 8 speed. This guy moves absurdly slow, but it has the running animation like it moves super fast. But it's actually really slow. It's so dumb. So yeah, this is Sonic Cat. He has 2 different forms. Different forms does different things. The first form is a attacker, quote unquote. It deals massive damage towards aliens. It only deals like 2,000 damage, which I guess is like times 4, so it's like 10,000 damage to alien. Awesome. Not really worth. Second form is a meat shield. Has 10k HP and resist to alien and warp immune. This is actually not too terrible. It's not that good. Like if you compare to like fucking Rover Cat. If you compare to Rover Cat. Rover Cat has 13,000 HP, but it's strong against. And has a very short cooldown. Sonic Cat actually has like a significantly better health, being at like 50,000 effective HP if you have full treasure, 40,000 if you don't, and Rover have like 26k. So Sonic Cat actually has significantly more HP. Granted, Sonic Cat has way longer cooldown, and also I think it's also kind of pricier at 420, while Rover only has 270 at true form. But it's not terrible if you want to have like an extra meat shield, or maybe if your Rover isn't strong enough or whatever. For a unit that you get pretty easily, it's not terrible. It's a unit that is definitely usable. Definitely something that at least is good, is worth to keep in like Labyrinth, I would say. Like if you are against like early alien stages or whatever, I think it's pretty worth bringing. Not crazy, but it's usable for early game. Yeah, I mean, even past early game, I would say he's still pretty usable. Maybe as like a secondary meat shield or something like that, or if you don't have Rover, it's basically a side grade from Rover. It's not like straight up worse than Rover, but it is a side grade, I would say. Cubey in shambles, not really. Well, okay, Cubey's not that great, and also Cubey doesn't have warp immune, I think. No, Cubey have warp immune, doesn't he? Cubey. Does Cubey have warp immune? I actually don't remember. No, Cubey doesn't have warp immune. So Sonic Cat actually is kind of nice for like Star Alien because of the warp immune. So there's that. Hell yeah. But yeah, definitely not a straight up terrible cat. Mainly in evolve form. The first form is just really bad. But evolve form is not terrible, still usable. It's not terrible. Next up, Tails. You get this from Login. This, I don't actually remember. Is this the one with like really big range or something? Yeah, it is. For some reason, this guy have really big range, 380 range with effective LD to 505. I don't really get it. And also, it only has 10 seconds cooldown. For something with 380 range, it's actually kind of nuts. And it has a guaranteed chance to slow angel enemies. This is a very weird unit because it's actually like pretty reliable because of the really big range, really good recharge time, and it's guaranteed slow. But the LD blind spot is also really big. The attack frequency is also pretty good. So it's 5 seconds with like 2 seconds guaranteed slow. So you can easily like perma slow stuff, but it is single target. The main thing is it has a really big blind spot. So it's not really good against like shorter range angel enemies, especially if they push hard. But for what it's worth, if you're against maybe like Sleipnir or Chick-fil-A or something, and if you need something extra to stall them, then it's kind of okay. But at the same time, you're probably not going to super need it. It's good for Wing Piggy, but I don't know. It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. This is a very odd unit. Like, you could use it for Wing Piggy, but since it's single target, it could miss, but it is stackable, so it could work. It's a really weird unit, where it's like, it kinda maybe could work, but it also have a lot of problems being single target and having, like, the blind spot, so it's like, a little bit, It's one of those where it's like, maybe theoretically could help, but might not be the best, or it might be better to just brute force rather than trying to use slow. I would say the best situation to use him, the most valid situation to use him is probably Wing Piggy. But aside from that, it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's definitely possible to use, but also fucking hell if I know, you know? we'll see, I guess. It's great for Wing Piggy. I'd imagine so. As long as there's, like, not much other enemies with Wing Piggy. Then again, I guess Wing Piggy don't usually appear too much with other stuff. Since... yeah, Wing Piggy don't usually appear with too much other stuff, I guess. So... I guess that could actually be... yeah, I guess this is pretty good for Wing Piggy. It's kind of like pseudo Farmer Cat or something. It's Farmer Cat with LD. It's pretty good. Next up is Shadow Cat. I don't actually remember anything about this. Resist to metal. Huh. I actually don't remember this. I actually don't remember this unit at all. Okay, let me compare this to Future Cat. I mean, Future Cat is kind of a, like, a later game unit, to be fair. 11k HP, 13k HP, 5.2 seconds, 4.2 seconds cooldown. It's actually not bad. Wait. It's actually kind of good. The attack range is kind of problematic though, since I guess enemies could push, but like... wait, this is actually kind of nice. It does cost a lot though at 300, but it's actually kind of nice. Modern Cat does have like the insanely tough at True Form, but pre-True Form Modern Cat, compared to this, like Shadow's just actually straight up better. Minus the attack range. The attack range is a little bit bad, and also the cost. But like... wait, it's actually kind of nice. It's actually kind of good. Damn. Shadow Cat is really good. Yeah, I guess so. I actually don't remember seeing anything about this guy, but I guess he's pretty good looking over the stats, yeah. Pill of Shadow Cat has base HP and speed. Yeah, I guess the speed is also really good. 22, yeah. That's pretty good. Pretty good unit. And it's pretty interesting that all of the the rare cats are actually really good too. That's very interesting. This cat drops a lot in JP. Right, I think I saw a lot of people saying like the Sonic, the Shadow Cat drop chance was like really high for some reason. Shadow's resistance to his android. Shadow resistance to like Metal Sonic. I need to refill my water, man. But I'm kind of thirsty, but I basically have just started the 14.4 discussion. I don't want to immediately take a break. GPF 10 times drop chance for Shadow Cat. That is really funny. I do wonder why Ian doesn't have that a lot of the times. The extra drop rate. Like, is that like is there a law against that internationally for some reason? Or is it like actually like Polos for God or something? I don't know. But yeah, that is the non-Uber Sonic. Let's talk about the Uber Sonics. Let me talk about probably the least interesting one, Knuckles. Knuckles, the Echidna. He is what's it? How does the song go again? He doesn't chuckle. His name is Knuckles. He doesn't chuckle. And he fuckles and tuckles, and like he buckles and like puckles. I don't fucking know. I forgot. I only remember he doesn't chuckle. Knock knock, it's Knuckles. He's not like Sonic. He fucking like duckles. I don't know. Sorry, why did I say Sonic? Sorry. Knuckles is a very weird unit. He's a mid-ranger. He's a tanky mid-ranger, but his DPS isn't really that high, and he's a multi-hit. So his attacks are like split apart. But what's also weird is that he has Omni Strike. And you might be like, well, okay, I mean, he's an anti-zombie, so obviously he has Omni Strike. But his Omni Strike is minus 100. Do you know what that means? He has less Omni Strike than units that doesn't have Omni Strike. Why? Why? He actually straight up is worse in Omni Striking than units that doesn't have Omni Strike. Because normal units that doesn't have Omni Strike have a natural negative 320 Omni Strike range. So Knuckles actually have worse Omni Strike than units that doesn't have normal Omni Strike, because his Omni Strike is only negative 100. So he actually have a harder time hitting zombies than most units. So like, why? Why does he have negative 100 Omni Strike? It's so bad. Animation accurate range, I guess, but like, it's so bad. He actually have a harder time hitting zombies than most other normal units. It's so weird. But yeah, other than that, he's kind of like a basic strong against unit. He has anti-red, anti-zombie. He's also immune to waves and weaken, which is nice. But other than that, he's kind of like a basic mid-range tanker unit, question mark. I mean, he's okay, I guess. He has good stats, but his cooldown isn't particularly low. He's not particularly well, I guess he's cheap, I guess. There's that, but his cooldown is not particularly low. His damage isn't particularly super high. It's pretty high, but it's all right. It's okay. He have multi-hit, so his damage gets split apart, and his zombie is like not great. Worse, also another bad part is he doesn't outrange Cadaver, so he have to tank up. He have to tank Cadaver, and like, yeah, he has strong against and he has good health, but Cadaver does a fuck ton of damage, dude. He does have Omni Strike, but his Omni Strike is only like plus 50, so it's not even that big of a piercing range. It's definitely usable. It's not terrible, but it is a very weird unit. I feel like, I don't know. It's not terrible, but it is kind of it's okay. Every unit has like default negative 300 Omni Strike, yeah, and Knuckles have worse than that. So he's actually just straight up worse against zombies for some reason. Fucking weird. I don't know. But yeah, that's Knuckles. He fuckles, he chuckles. I don't know. Tails. Tails is a pretty funny one because this is an explosion unit. This, let me go with the attack. So yeah, he drops a bomb from above. Whee! He drops coins. This is an LD explosion unit, and I believe the explosion also lands more or less where he attacks. Yeah, 240 to 640, and the explosion is at 440. And explosion is about like 200 range inner and outwards. So his effective range and the explosion range is basically the same. His base DPS is really low at 1600, but again, he has explosion. So anything that is around the center of his range basically gets double damage. Anything outside gets a slightly extra splash damage. He's not really a damager, but also at the same time, he's a 440 range unit with like only 97 seconds cooldown. That's pretty short. For what it's worth, it's kind of nice. Probably still not going to use it for like damaging. This is still pretty low even with the explosion as a damager. But if you are able to maybe like stack it up or something like that, or for a battle drags on for a long amount of time that you can stack multiple of it, then maybe he can do like decent amount of damage. But he is mainly a support. He does weaken and curse for red and alien. The uptime is pretty good. The chance is 75%, which is it's a bit kind of weird. It's not particularly that high, it's not particularly that low. It's kind of so-so. But I do like that he has a pretty short cooldown. The explosion does also kind of help with like making his effective debuff to be longer, because if you proc, then the explosion will also proc. But it's overall, it's an alright unit, I would say. It's a unit that is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty straightforward support unit. Not too terrible, not too bad. It's alright, it's pretty good. I hope when Mina gets talent, she gets explosion. That would be pretty cool, yeah. Weaken, I have a video about that. Yeah, that's true. I do have a video about Weaken. Also, speaking of that, I forgot if I've talked about this yet, actually, but I have decided on what my next video is gonna be. Since we were talking about the Shadow Cat earlier, I think I'm gonna go with the metal video. I do want to talk about metals. I think the poll that I put out a couple of weeks ago at this point, the poll, I think the winner of the poll was about... What was it? What did they talk about? Wait, what wins? What even won the poll? What did they even put on the poll? Hold on. LD, right? Yeah, it's about LD. Thank you. But I decided to put that out for put it up for a little bit, because I feel like metals are a little bit easier to talk about. There hasn't been a single explosion unit with spawn point that isn't their standing range. Oh, is there? Oh, no. I mean, yeah, spawn point, yes. But I mean, like, the explosion range itself is also matching with the LD. Like, because explosion is also about 200, right? It's about 200 inner and 200 outer, right? And Tails LD is also like 200 inner and 200 outer from its standing range. So that's what I mean. But yeah, the explosion does like appear exactly where his standing range is. Next up, let's talk about... who do I talk about first? Let's talk about Shadow. Shadow is a really fucking funny unit, because this is currently the fastest, or at least tied to the fastest unit in the game, with 520 range. What? Why? I mean, I know why, because it's lore accurate that, like, he would of course fucking match his speed with Sonic, right? It is really funny though that a 95 speed unit would have 520 range. It is so fucking funny. But yeah, he attacks kind of like Gilgamesh. He like shoots like fucking arrows or whatever. He is also a rebound unit, quote unquote, technically a rebound unit, because he attacks very fast. He attacks every 1.67 seconds, so immediately after attacking he attacks again. And being at 95 speed is just so fucking funny for a 520 range unit. I believe people usually... I think people say he's actually pretty decent. I mean, having high speed for a super high range unit isn't too terrible. We see that with Cosmo, as long as they don't miss super often. And since since Shadow attacks really often, And since his natural range is really, really big anyways, it's not that big of a problem, I would say, for Shadow to have a very high speed. Usually, if you have a really high speed, but your range is also not that safe, then maybe yes, that's a problem. Most obvious example is Kachi. Kachi is where a high speed can actually be kind of a problem, because Kachi's range isn't that big. Kachi's range is 460. It's not super low, but it is kind of a problem that his movement speed is really high because he actually clips with like a lot of stuff. But since Shadow is at 520, even if he clips, he's still going to outrange like majority of enemies in the stage. So it's generally fine that even though he has high movement speed. Not to mention another thing that's also important about Kachi is that Kachi has a TBA. Kachi, after attacking, would seek to move as soon as possible. Shadow doesn't do that. Since Shadow is always actively attacking, he always stops to attack anytime anything is in his way. So he's not actually as suicidal as like Kachi or like Cosmo because of his attack frequency. So this one's actually not super suicidal despite the super high movement speed. It's actually pretty nice. And then I haven't even talked about his abilities. Yeah, he is a blackened zombie. He deals massive damage against blackened zombie. He has Z Killer, and he's immune to slow and toxic, which is kind of funny because like, what would even slow him? Obviously, I would say he's only immune to slow for lore reasons because he's the fucking fastest thing alive or whatever. But it is still really funny. It's like, who the fuck is gonna slow him? Like fucking Crockley, I guess. I guess there's Crockley. I don't fucking know. Toxic is also kind of a weird one. I don't know if this is supposed to be lore related or if there's like a good reason for that. I guess there's Zolo, but even without the Toxic, I feel like Zolo would already destroy majority of Shadow's health anyways. I guess there's like Peng. I don't fucking know. Immune Toxic feels a little bit random. He doesn't really have that much health anyways, but yeah, Shadow's kind of a basic unit. Aside from the really fucking high, the really fucking high speed and the really high range, he's kind of a basic unit, but a basic unit that I would say works pretty well. For what it's worth, his range and his DPS is actually pretty high for what its range is. Maybe not that high, but it is pretty nice. It is definitely really solid. You have good recharge time as well on top of that. A pretty good unit, I would say. Fastest thing alive is Sonic. Shadow is near Sonic, but has shoes to boost his speed. Hey, I mean, Shadow is already basically a like man-made life form, anyways, right? So I feel like it kind of is fair that Shadow is also like Shadow's like shoe is kind of like a part of him or some shit like that. So. It's canon Shadow hates dead people. I don't know about that. I mean, he likes Maria, you know. I don't think he hates. If he hates dead people, I don't agree with that. He definitely likes at least one dead person, you know. Weirdly not immune to freeze. I guess so. I guess because like freeze at least doesn't look weird on Shadow. Shadow doesn't want Maria to be alone, so he Z-kills the zombie. That doesn't make any sense. Well, I mean, I guess to like send him to the afterlife or whatever. But yeah, anyways, that's Shadow. It's a very funny unit. Sonic, fastest thing alive for real this time. Well, I mean, Shadow too, but like this time actually is for a reason. This is basically a Yukimura clone with also kind of a mix with Blanca. This is kind of a mix with Yukimura and Blanca at the same time, in a sense where it's obviously a rusher unit, but unlike Blanca, it doesn't have Omni Strike. But like Blanca, the reason why I say this is kind of like Blanca is specifically this. You see this? 5 frame of attack, sort of. So Sonic is a Yukimura clone, right? He comes in, he rushes in, he attacks, he bounces off, and then he stands for a little while, and then attacks again, right? So this 5-frame of attack animation is kind of a problem. If you use Yuki, you would rarely have Yuki to lose any interactions against any enemies because Yuki have a 1-frame attack startup. Sonic have 5 frames, which you might be like, well, 5 frames isn't that bad, but it kind of actually is. 5 frame is actually kind of a problem, especially if you don't really have a high attack range. Granted, this is probably a worse problem with Blanca, because Blanca have like 150 range, if I'm not mistaken. At the top of my head. Yeah, Blanca has 150 range. And his 5-frame of attack animation actually makes him lose interactions between some alien enemies. Sometimes he would get hit before he actually is able to land his attack animation. Sonic sometimes does this too. Granted, his attack range is better, so he has a slightly better matchup against some enemies, but his 5-frame attack animation is sometimes a problem. It's the same as Bahamut. I guess so. Bahamut does have like 200 range. Bahamut does have like 200 range and a slightly slower movement speed, so it doesn't like clip as easily. But yeah, I guess, I mean, even then, like Bahamut also still like messes up some interaction with like some doges or like some kangaroo variants. He loses against like kangaroo variants. He loses against some doges on base hit. Loses obviously against like Brawlos or whatever. He loses against like Gabriels. So there are some interactions where he would lose. Expect that basically anything that Bahamut would lose to, Sonic would also lose to. So that's kind of part of the problem with Sonic, is that he might need a little bit of a backup. Oh yeah, I also have not actually talked about like his abilities. He has massive damage against Angel. So he is a Angel Yukimura, but he also has 100% chance to knock back and slow, which is kind of funny. I'm not really... I'm kind of mixed about this ability, because on one hand, I guess that's neat to kind of like keep certain Angel bosses at bay. On the other hand, this would mess up some rushers. Like, if you're trying to rush down certain Angel enemies, and then you like knock it and slow it, and then you knock and slow, and it's like, that's just gonna like mess some stuff up, right? Like you're just gonna push them to a safer place, right? So it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. I'm really mixed with this ability. He could knock back Borofim so he doesn't get hurt. But wouldn't it be better if you just keep hitting Borofim instead of knocking Borofim back and just rush the fuck out of Borofim? If you just knock Borofim back, you're just gonna push him. You're just gonna put the Borofim to a safe spot rather than putting Sonic to a safe spot. So it's like, eh. Another point is that Angels have a lot of mid-rangers. Right, and that's a problem. Because if you say you want to like rush down Chick-fil-A or rush down Slipnir, and then you knock back and slow Slipnir and Chick-fil-A, and now they're like behind other enemies, and it's like now you can't rush them anymore. It's like, why? This knockback and slow is very weird. I don't know if I like that. I haven't seen that much footage of Sonic, to be fair, but like I feel like this is more of a problem than it would be a good thing. Sonic has extremely low HP too. Yeah, I mean, doesn't Yuki have a kind of a similar? Yukimura have a similar HP, doesn't he? Yeah, Yukimura also have a similar HP. Yukimura slightly tankier at almost 30,000. Sonic is at a lower health, and they both have like similar cooldown. I think it's similar cost too. Like, yeah, Sonic's 3,000. Yuki also basically around 3,000. So it is very similar to Yuki's health and cooldown and cost. But it's not as strong as Yuki, because Yuki in true form, the damage is higher at 42k, Sonic is only at 35k. And it doesn't even attack as fast, I think, right? Yeah, Yuki actually has a better attack rate too, compared to Sonic. So it's, if you want to like compare rushers, Yukimura is definitely better. Sonic is mainly better if you're against Angel, but even then, against some Angels, he might not even be as good against Yukimura. I feel like if you want to like rush down Slipnir, it's better to use Yukimura than Sonic, because at least Yuki doesn't knock Slipnir back to a safe spot. It's really weird. I really don't get the knockback and slow. I guess the slow is fine-ish, but the knockback I really don't get. I really don't get why he has this. It's very weird. Other than that, he's a rusher. Use him for rusher things. He has very high speed, so he can like clip through and have like a pseudo Omni Strike or some shit. Other than that, he's a pretty basic rusher. It's a rusher. Rushers are always good. Any bad rushers are still a good unit. If anything that you learn from like Battlecats, a bad rusher is still a good unit. Like, there's a reason on why I praised fucking Capsule Cat years back, because like something like even something like Capsule Cat has its use just because it has a really high speed, and Sonic is the same. Even though Sonic isn't as good as Yukimura or whatever, it's still a rusher. Rusher is always good. Sonic dying to Lionel because he knocked back it. Yeah, that's also part of the problem. And if you try to like rush down, Slipnir on the Lionel stage, and then you just knock Slipnir back behind Lionel, and it's like, why? Why does he have knockback? It's so weird. I really don't get this knockback. It's so bad. Would be pretty good for like little Angel Cyclones. I don't think I agree with that. I mean, the massive damage, yes. The knockback and slow, I don't know about that. I think it's better to just let Sonic rebound or some shit. I mean, I guess the knockback and slow isn't that big, and like you can have Sonic to. But the problem with that is that Sonic also have a really long attack frequency. His like, look at his backswing. His backswing is really slow. He takes a while before he moves again. And by that time, Little Angel Cyclone will already be going back anyways, so it's like, eh. What is he just getting from this banner, Shadow or Sonic? I feel like I feel like all of them are pretty good to a decent degree. At least usable. Like, Shadow is still a nice high ranger. Knuckles is a pretty okay mid ranger. Tails is a pretty decent LD. Sonic is a rusher, and rusher is always good. So I feel like anything that you get is just going to be nice. And the thing is, all of them are unique on its own. So it kind of, I guess, depends on what you need. I don't know. You need to boost Sonic to 38 in order to survive Lionel hit. Or you can just use Bahamut. Hear that, Kirihime? I mean, yeah, Kirihime have her usages too, especially back in the days. Nowadays, it's not as good because we have Rock Cat, and like Boulder Cat basically trumps all of those sort of stuff. I just want them because it's Sonic. Yeah, that's probably the best thing, because like it's freaking Sonic. Just get them for collabs, for collab purpose. But yeah, that is the Sonic collab. All of them are at least good units. There's like even like the free rares and all that stuff are good units. So yeah, definitely keep a lookout. Roll for the Ubers, roll for the rares or whatever. I don't actually know anything about like the stages for the Sonic collab. I think Jones talked about like one of the tail stages being difficult, but that's about it. That's all I've heard. I'd imagine there's no like super difficult advent stage or whatever, so it's not super worth talking about. Okay, now should I talk about Mewton then? Or should I talk about Iron Legion first? No, we've just talked about Ubers. Let's talk about this one new Iron Legion first. This is already in JP. This is not in EN yet. Let's talk about this one first. This is already in JP, right? So I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know shit about this guy. I don't remember jack shit about this guy. There's only one thing that I know about this guy, and it's not about his stats. So Mighty Mortaloncha. Oh, I guess that we don't actually know the EN name yet because it's not an EN yet. Gunhauser. This is a unit with Spirit ability. This, I really barely remember anything about this guy. I'm going to have to look through his stats again. Really tanky health, mediocre damage output, attack range pretty nice. Freeze zombie and Aku for 5 seconds. Zombie killer with conjure and explosion at 465, immune to toxic and surge. Interesting. That's actually pretty nice then if it has explosion. So I guess anything near its explosion would have like around 6,000-ish DPS with zombie killer and freeze. 50% freeze. 50% freeze is a little bit odd. But I guess it's neat. It doesn't have any like shield breaker, but it does have surge immune. I guess it's a pretty basic good unit, I would say. It is a pretty basic good unit. Not super crazy damaging, but on the right spot will do good damage. The freeze I feel like is such a random extra that you're probably... I feel like you're not gonna use this guy for freeze. You're probably gonna use this guy just for basic generalist stats, I feel like. And also anti-zombie. And the explosion... I feel like explosion with zombie are really good because you're going to hit a lot of zombies. Oh, he attacks pretty often too. 7.27 seconds. Let me see his attack animation. Boing. That's pretty funny. Evolve form. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty cute. It launches upwards. Yeah, I feel like you're not really going to use him for the freeze. I mean, I guess the freeze is neat, but I feel like you're mainly going to use him for the zombie killer, right? Consensus is pretty nice. It does seem like it. Surge immune is nice, toxic immune is nice, he's pretty tanky. He has explosion but doesn't have a blind spot, which I think is nice. So, like, unlike something like Tails, which has LD and explosion, he actually can still hit anything that is near him. Maybe anything near him would not get hit by the explosion, but would still get hit by the basic attack, which I think is nice. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I think you're probably going to use him more as a generalist more than a freeze or like a short anti-zombie. Freeze duration is more important than consistency here for sure. Freeze duration is really nice. 5 seconds is really nice, but I do feel like that's kind of a bonus, and you're like the basic stats that I feel like is what really is it's great. And also obviously the conjure. So, the Conjure... Wait, the Conjure have Soul Strike? Oh shit, I didn't know that. Wait, is that his only ability? Oh shit, I didn't know that actually. I forgot to check this. I remember Zombie Killer. I don't remember him having Soul Strike. That's crazy. Okay, that's very interesting. So his Spirit have Soul Strike. That's very cool. Very good unit then. But yeah. The one... So, when I said earlier that I don't remember anything about this guy except for one thing, the one thing that I remember about this guy is that they fucking canonically killed one of the Iron Legions. That's crazy! So, if you don't know... let me look up the Iron Legion banner. So, most Iron... Well, not most, actually. Pretty much every single Iron Legions that we have. Right? Pretty much every single Iron Legions that we have always have at least 2 of the same characters, especially in the first form. There's usually at least 2 of the same characters with the addition of a couple of other characters. The first form always features this one mustache guy and this one with the pirate eye patch. You see this in Catapult? You see this here on Dreadnought? You see the guy at the front there is the mustache guy, and the guy at the back with the eye patch. And then here, there's the mustache guy and the eye patch guy at the bottom. And there's a couple of 2 other cats at the top. This one have mustache guy and eye patch guy at the bottom, and a couple of others at the top. This one have mustache guy and eye patch guy at the bottom, and a couple one at the top. This guy, the new Iron Legion, doesn't have the mustache guy on the first form. Because it's the fucking Conjure. The Conjure is the mustache guy. They fucking killed him. He fucking died and turned into a spirit. This is doomed Yaoi. That's so messed up. they fucking killed one of the Iron Legion. The suspiciously fat cat. The suspiciously mustache guy shaped fat cat. But yeah. This is such an interesting it's such an interesting detail to the Iron Legion. The evolved form doesn't have the the evolved form. So the thing about the evolved form, you see this hat? You see this hat besides the eye patch guy? This is the hat that the mustache guy usually use. Like if you see this, let me just zoom in closer to some of these images. Like you see that? The mustache guy and the eye patch guy is at the top. Both of them are wearing a hat. These guys, oh, I think they only show up on their attack animation, so you can't see here. These guys, I think they also only show up on attack animation, so I can't show it here. This one, where is the? No, I think. I don't think you can see it here either. But yeah, I guess the best one you can see is here. You can see here the mustache guy and the eye patch guy usually shows up in like attack animation only, and they both like wear hats and they're like the commanders. In here, there's only one guy and there's only one hat being like put here. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad, but also really cute that like the hat is still there, and it's so fucking sad. I don't know why fucking Ponos decided to kill off the mustache guy and turn him into a spirit. It's so messed up. Does the conjure design change with the form, or is it the same? It's the same. Conjure design always the same regardless of form so far. Mustache guy is the one on the ground for Ragnarok. Oh right, of course, right, yeah. I already closed the image, never mind. But yeah, so the hat is, yeah, it's doomed Yaoi. It's really fucking messed up. That's Mighty Mortal Loncha. That's about it for the new units, except for, of course, Master of Logic Mewton. Oh my god, this has been the talks of everyone. I'm gonna be real with you, I don't actually fully remember his stats. All I know is that this guy is really fucking good. This is the newest unit that you get from ZL. So, Truth's Devouring Maw. At the final stage, Immeasurable Power, you'll be fighting Mewton. Mewton is the newest Sage enemy that we're going to fight. This is Sage of Logic Mewton, this is the enemy version. It is a red Sage enemy. It's not a floating because it's kind of it's one of those like weird dragging the ground but not really floating kind of enemy. It's a red enemy with really high range. If really high range, really high DPS, really high damage per hit and really high range. 700 range with Omni Strike to 1500 with attack power that basically one-shots anything that doesn't resist threat. The main thing, or at least I guess like the main weakness that this guy has, is that this guy's health is actually really low. 2 million for some like early game players that might be like, oh, that's really big. For like late game players, 2 million is nothing. 2 million is very small for a like late game player, and especially he has 8 knockback counts. So you can interrupt him very easily as long as you bring a lot of rushers, and especially if you bring like Sniper the Cat and all that stuff, because he have like a pretty noticeable attack startup. Boom. So yeah, you can interrupt him with Sniper ability. He's also not like immune to knockback and not immune to freeze, but he is a Sage, so freeze doesn't last long on him, but knockback can still interrupt him. So he's not super threatening. He doesn't push too terribly hard. He does like kill all of your units pretty easily, but you can rush the fuck out of him. His stage is, as far as I see, is kind of not great either. I feel like Ponos kind of forgot that he have like no health, because he is there's a lot of if you look up like any stage clears with him, there are a lot of ways to just rush him down and kill him in like just a couple of seconds. It's very easy to rush him. So unfortunately, his stage, I feel like, is supposed to be kind of like Eva 13 stage. If you know Eva 13, what's the name of Eva 13 stage again? We'll meet again? Right? This is Eva 13, right? Or am I mixing it with something else? Yeah, Unit 13. I feel like they're trying to emulate Unit 13, where it's like, it's an very high range enemy that one-shots everything with like really high Omni Strike. 200 Omni Strike, 2,200, 100,000 damage to one-shot everything. And like with higher magnification and all that stuff. But like, Mewton doesn't have any health. That's the problem. Eva 13, this guy is at what percentage here? Oh, it's only at 100. But like, even then, it's like, it has 4 million HP with like 6 knockback count and pretty fast attack frequency. Mewton only has 2 million with 8 knockback counts. And it's so easy to rush Mewton compared to like Eva 13, which is like significantly tankier. I feel like they're trying to do something like Eva 13, but maybe don't want it to last too long. But they ended up making Mewton too easy to rush, unfortunately. I get what they're trying to go for, but they gave Mewton too little health, unfortunately. Oh, was it lagging? Sorry. Did stream end? Oh, fuck. Oh yeah, it did like, I guess it did like crash for a little bit, did it? Yeah, you might have to refresh. If stream ends, try refreshing. He has less than the HP of Craze Tank. Yeah, I mean, Craze Tank is something that you can like easily stack units up on, but yeah. It is a bit unfortunate that he is way too easy to rush. I feel like he either needs less knockback count or more health, or both. Like, honestly, just give him Eva 13's health. Just give him Eva 13's health and knockback. I feel like that's fine. Like, it's the end of ZL. We fought Socrates. I feel like it's fair to refight Eva 13 again, basically. They're really being too much of a coward with this health, I feel like. But yeah, Mewton stage unfortunately gets like rushed down way too easily. Socrates had 4 million. I mean, I kind of get it, because Socrates is like a mid-range, well, not mid-range, it's kind of a high range, but it's kind of like Craze Tank versus Craze like bird situation or whatever, you know? Obviously something with like lesser range have higher health, but even then it's like, come on, he doesn't push that hard. Mewton doesn't push that hard. It can't be that bad to give him more health, you know? Oh, Lucky, thank you for the $5. I don't know what $1 is. Thank you. Brilliant stuff to listen upon a morning commute to class. Hope you have a good time to class. But it's weekend. Well, I guess I assume it's like something, maybe not like school class or whatever. I don't know. How do you beat the level before the 4th boss destroys? What? How do you beat the level before the 4th destroys I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Australian? Oh, Australian dollar? I guess that makes sense, yeah. It's Monday? Oh, right. Monday. It's Monday in Australia, isn't it? Right, yeah. It's already, well, I mean, it's Monday for me too, but like, yeah, in Australia, I guess it's already like 7 or something. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, that is the enemy Mewton and the stage Mewton, Immeasurable Power, which unfortunately, again, is very easy to rush. And now we get Master of Logic Mewton. And again, I don't fully remember his stats. I mean, I can look at his stats right here, but from what I remember and from what I see, the main idea is that this guy is random but good. This guy is Nyandem if he's actually... Nyandem if he locks in. Nyandem if he's actually smart. Nyandem if he actually locks the fuck in and is not like a random SOL unit that gets like overridden immediately. This is actually good Nyandem. So he has a pretty basic health and attack power, but his attack range is really fucking high. It's 600 range, and he has Omni Strike to 900 with 5% with level 5 mini wave. This is a pretty fucking long mini wave, and like he's also got Conjure and 100% chance to 100% chance to slow red and floating. This is a very solid unit. This is a very solid unit. 600 range, good attack speed. 10 seconds is not super fast, but for like something with 600 attack range, it's like, yeah, he's very safe. He's standing at a very safe range. His recharge time isn't even that long. 144 is like on an okay end. His cost is pretty alright. 5,100 isn't too pricey. His health maybe isn't super high, but it's tanky enough for someone with 600 range. This is a very nice, just like long ranger in general. This is just something that's very basic, but works very well. Saki's range is 600 too, somewhere around there. But yeah, he basically stands at a very safe range. He doesn't have a blind spot. He has a piercing Omni Strike. He has level 5 mini wave, so his damage also gets bumped up by like around 20%. So 3,700 times 2, 500, 600, 4,000. So he has like around like 4,200-ish DPS at level 30. Which is pretty good for something with 600 attack range. It's just generally a very like reliable unit for something that stands at a very safe range, and it's also having the 100% chance to slow red and floating. And since he has Sage Killer, this also means that he's good against Socrates. Which kind of makes you wonder why he's good against Socrates, and then you think, they're gonna have like 2-star Socrates, don't they? Mewton has much higher health than Ururun. That is true too, that is true. Ururun have pretty short, a pretty small health. But on the other side, Ururun have a very big damage in return. Ururun have really high base DPS. So it's kind of like, yeah. But Mewton is nice. Mewton's health is definitely on the better side for something that has 600 attack range compared to like Shadow earlier, right? Like Shadow have a I think have a shorter Shadow have a smaller health, I believe, right? And a smaller range too. Yeah, Shadow have less health and less range for comparison. Mewton actually have a pretty solid health for what it's worth. With 600 attack range and Omni Strike to 900, this is actually a pretty solid health. I wasn't my own highness road clear with Mewton. Right, I've seen a lot of people use Mewton here and there, and he seems to be just a really solid unit. He's not like super... He's not a unit that you see and it's like, wow, this is a very broken stats. It's just kind of like, you see his stat and it's like, yeah, it's solid. Like, there, you can't really complain anything about Mewton, I feel like. He's a very safe unit that, like, I guess his only quote-unquote weakness is that he doesn't have, like, I don't know, he doesn't have, like, resist wave. He doesn't have, like, immune to wave, or doesn't have, like, immune to surge or whatever. I guess he loses to, like, some LD enemies or Omni Strike enemies that really targets something that's really at the back. I guess he can lose to, like, Hacky or Tacky or whatever, but aside from that, he's just a very good basic unit. And even then, he's still able to outrange some enemies that may have, like, waves or surge or whatever, because his range is just naturally really high. He's just a really good basic unit. Very, very, very solid. Very, very, very nice. And also, he has swag. He has the Teto hair, which is really funny, too. People say he is Teto. Oh, and also he has Conjure to knockback too. Since he is, like, he does have a problem if enemies get too close to him, having knockback is definitely very nice. But yeah. Hacky is his mortal enemy, yeah. I'd imagine so. But yeah, he definitely have some problems against enemies that have like piercing attacks, but other than that, he's just a very good basic generalist with very high range. It's really nice. Anti-red because of apples, anti-floating because of gravity. That is pretty funny. I guess that could be the case, yeah. Anti-red because of apple, anti-floating because of gravity. Yeah, that's a good theory. That's a good theory. But yeah, Mewton, very solid unit, very little to complain about. Just overall, really solid legend. It's still hard to stage, it's just actually doable. Oh, you mean Highness Road? Yeah. I mean, Highness Road is still... I can't really think of any other stage that is harder than Highness Road. I guess you can argue Socrates, but it does really depend on like what you allow to use and what you don't allow to use. Because if you obviously if you allow Ubers, like both of them are easy in some regards, but even then, like you need specific Ubers for either stages. Then again, like Socrates is more of a boost check rather than being quote-unquote hard, I guess. In a way, Highness Road, it's a little bit harder because a lot of the good anti-Akus and barrier breakers are actually no gacha, so you can't boost them past 50. We'll meet again? I guess so, at 3-star, yeah. Doremi Revenge? Doremi Revenge is super dependent, because there's a lot of Ubers that can help Doremi Revenge to be easy too, so okay. So those are the new units. I don't think I'm going to talk about the enemies. We already talked about Mewton. I don't really care about the Sonic collab enemies. So I guess we'll move on to True Form and Talents. Let's talk about the boring stuff first. Paladin. Ultra Talent Paladin. Money up. Yay? Question mark? Okay. Fucking whatever, bro. Upgrades critical hit by 10%. Okay, awesome. He now has from like 10% chance to crit to like 11% chance to crit. Fuck yeah, dude. And a 3% chance to dodge improves 3% to level up by to 30%. Who the fuck is going to hit you? I mean, I get it's Paladin, so it's probably kind of hard to make him good. But also, this is such a shit Ultra Talent. I'm sorry, man. Paladin gets shafted once again. Like, okay, upgrade crits is nice, I guess. But if you have enough, like, resource to upgrade your Paladin to Ultra Talent, I feel like you can just upgrade literally anything else. And just use fucking Waitress, bro. Waitress have guaranteed chance to crit. You don't need to rely on Paladin crit for this. And then dodge attack, it's like, bro, he's not gonna get chipped off by like metal enemies. Like, he really doesn't need to dodge for anything. Not to mention, the dodge is one of those dodge talents where you can't actually only upgrade level 1. You actually need to upgrade the dodge chance. So it's going to be very expensive to upgrade. And then money up. Why? You're not really usually lacking money in metal stage, and a lot of the anti-metals that we have are already really cheap anyways. It's yeah. Bad Ultra Talent, unfortunately. Bad Ultra Talent for a bad unit. Oh well. They really could have just given him Metal Killer, yeah. They really could have just given him Metal Killer. And it would fit his name, yeah, because he's even have the Metal Killer here. Known as the Metal Killer, except he doesn't have the fucking Metal Killer ability for some fucking reason. Awesome. Thank you, Ponos. Whatever. Next up, Satoru Talents. I don't really know much about this one, too. He has Curse Immunity and Immune to Knockback. I mean, Curse Immunity is okay, but at the same time, he usually have enough range to not get hit by most relics that have curse anyways. 1. 2, he's not even anti-relic. 3, if he gets hit by relic enemies that does curse, chances are he's going to fucking die. So I don't feel like the curse immunity is really that good. And then immune to knockback. Why would you want immune to knockback on Satoru? This is a bad talent. Finally, Survive Lethal. Survive Lethal is naturally good. This one, there's really not much to complain about, except that it's just pricey. But it's a rage unit. Survive Lethal is always good. It's never wrong to have Survive Lethal. This is the only actually good talent. If you really want to use Satoru a lot, I guess it's okay. Other than that, the immunity sucks. Like, immunity doesn't always suck. Here's the thing, right? Like, immunity and resist talents aren't always bad. But in this case, it's actually bad. And then let's talk about... which one do I want to talk about first? Let's talk about Asset. Asset only gets like very basic stats buff, but honestly, that's kind of all she needed. She's always been kind of a generalist unit, so Asset the generalist, getting generalist stat boost, I feel like makes sense. I guess it doesn't really give her like extra like usages, but I feel like it's fair for Asset to only get extra asset. She does get immune to freeze and toxic, which is nice if you want to use her against toxic enemies or anything that has freeze. But other than that, I feel like it's just a decent stat talent true form. She does require the epic seed, so you kind of either have to get lucky with tower or get beat Stories of Legend first to do that. But other than that, it's a relatively cheap and relatively harmless true form. I don't really have that much of a problem with this, to be honest. I think it's fine. I think she's okay. I've always thought that Asset's a decent enough unit, and now she's still just a decent enough unit. I think the best change that she got is the range. Range from 300 to 350. I think this is probably the biggest change that she gets. Oh, did the stream fuck up again? I'm sorry. But yeah, I think the range change is probably the best change that she got. 300 to 350 is actually a pretty big deal. Everything else, I think, is just neat. She doesn't really super need big changes or whatever. She's always been kind of okay for what she's worth. 350 range solidifies her pretty nicely. Other than that, Asset is Asset. She's a mid-ranger with wave. I think overall she's okay. She's alright. Asset is a nothing burger, but burgers are good, so I'm not complaining. Yeah, I think she's not like super special unit in any way, shape, or form, but she's a mid-ranger with a wave, and I think that's good. Like, I think she's kind of almost like Juven's. Maybe like slightly, I guess like worse Juven's, if I want to compare. Juven's. Wait, no, not Juven's. What am I thinking? Sorry, not Juven's. What's the other merc unit? Sorry. What's the other merc unit? Fuck. The guy with wave. Eyewaltz. Here it is. Yeah, like she is basically Eyewaltz. She's tanky Eyewaltz. Eyewaltz has the damage of being like 5,300 DPS and level 2 wave attack, but Asset has significantly higher health, 156,000 HP, basically more than double of Eyewaltz's health, but have lesser DPS. But even then, like, her DPS is still pretty solid for someone with 350 range. I think it's still pretty good. And Asset's wave is also higher, and Asset have strengthened. Eyewaltz does have the Savage Blow, but it's only 15%, so it's eh. But yeah, I think Asset is pretty good. Asset is basically Eyewaltz. Tanky Eyewaltz, basically. And even though Asset have a slightly more cooldown, slightly higher cooldown, Asset is really tanky, so she's definitely going to survive for a much longer amount of time. I think Asset true form is pretty good. She's definitely basically Eyewaltz. Maybe even arguably question mark better than Eyewaltz in a sense, because of how tanky she is and her strengthen. She might be kind of arguably, well, I don't know, it's kind of a side grade, because Eyewalls doesn't need Strengthen to get the really high damage, right? But Asset needs the Strengthen. So it's kind of a side grade to Eyewalls, I feel like. I feel like they're very similar. They're very similar. Eyewalls has 25% Savage Blow with Talents. I guess so, but that does require Talents. And Asset doesn't have a talent yet. So there's that, at least. Oh yeah, 66% health. But yeah, I mean, 66% health means that she can... she have 2 knockback counts where she gets the extra damage, right? And 50%, so this is 1938, 4, 5, 5.7k DPS. So it's higher than Eyewalls if she only has 2 knockback counts. And at that point, she would still have a higher health. Granted, only 2 knockback counts, but still. I think Asset is very, very solid. I feel like Asset has always been underrated. Like, even before the True Form, I kind of like Asset for what it's worth. But the True Form, I feel like, really solidifies her, especially because of the range. Yeah, really good unit. I feel like Asset... I feel like people really should use Asset more. I've not seen people talk about Asset at all. I feel like people should really use Asset more. But yeah, really good unit. And then, let's talk about Pied Piper's True Form. This True Form, I've seen a lot of people being very divisive about it. I feel like people that have not used Pied Piper's True Form thinks that Pied Piper's True Form is bad. And people who have actually used Pied Piper's True Form says that Pied Piper's True Form is good. Maybe am I crazy to say that this is another situation where it's like Royal Guard? I feel like this is another situation where it's like Royal Guard, where a lot of people that have not really tried Pied Piper's True Form thinks it's like, oh, it's still Pied Piper, therefore it's bad. And then like people who have used Pied Piper's True Form is actually like, yeah, this is actually a good unit. The thing about Pied Piper's True Form is that I feel like it's not about being good or bad, and more so about there's so much Aku Shield Breakers now. We have a lot of Aku Shield Breakers now. I feel like it's the problem. We have Aku Researcher, we have Barrel, we have freaking Supercar, and like all of these are solid. And Brass is also solid. I feel like Brass isn't necessarily worse than anything like Barrel or Researcher. Brass have their own strength to make it like worthwhile. But the problem is just like there's so much already really good Breaker that I feel like Brass feels slightly underwhelming. Not because Brass is bad, but because there's already so much units similar to Brass. And sometimes Brass is better for certain situations, but it's just that we have so much choices now. I feel like it's kind of a situation where if, like, for example, if Brass was released earlier than Barrel, then people would look at Barrel and be like, we already have Brass. Does that make sense? It's just a matter of, like, release date, where I feel like if Barrel was, like, released now, people would be like, we already have Brass, so, like, we don't really need Barrel that much, you know? I think it's just nice to have the weaken effect. Absolutely, yeah. It's just that right now there's just so much already really good choice for Aku Shield Breaker that she feels less special. Also, I have not even talked about what Brass gets in her true form. So previously, Komuso or Pied Piper is kind of a basic single target shield breaker. It does have guaranteed chance to weaken, but the main thing that Komuso have is a pretty decent range, but the problem is it doesn't really have like good speed, it doesn't have any LD, it doesn't have piercing, it doesn't outrange Bear, and it's only single target. So and the the barrier break chance isn't really high. So Brass actually fixes majority of the problem. The range is still the same, but now it has mini waves, so it can actually not only pierce, it also basically have a pseudo area attack. Granted, it's a 50% chance, but it's still pretty good. 50% chance for a level 2 mini wave is still pretty high for what it's worth, especially for a unit with 220 range and only 11 seconds cooldown. The Pierce, the shield pierce is now higher chance at 60%, and I think also a really nice addition is the health. The health is now doubled, so it's able to tank through more enemies, it's able to survive more enemies, it's able to potentially maybe survive like some death surge, it's possibly able to just stack up better and all those stuff. Another really good thing is also movement speed. This is something that I noticed even before True Form. Pied Piper is able to hit Fallen Bear. And it's not super uncommon too. Pied Piper hits Fallen Bear relatively often because her attack startup is pretty fast. So her having higher speed actually means she's able to hit Fallen Bear more consistently. It's actually pretty nice now, since you're actually able to get in and immediately land a hit pretty consistently, and even if you miss the attacks because of like other enemies being in the way, you still have a 50% chance to create the mini wave. So it's actually pretty good. And it has the weaken, so its effective health is even higher. It's actually pretty good. Again, it's not particularly, I would say it's not particularly like better than Barrel or like better than Researcher. I feel like Barrel, Researcher, and Brass are all in a very similar situation where they're all good. Like, they're all just good. It's really hard to compare all of them because they're all good. They're all just good. None of them really completely overshadows the others, and maybe certain situation calls for like other units better, but like all of them are just good. So it's really hard to say it's like, oh, if you have Barrel, you don't need Brass, or if you need Brass, you don't need Barrel. It's like, all of them are just good. So it's really hard to say it's like particularly the meta or whatever. It's just a good option, really. It's a really nice option. That's basically it. But yeah, overall, definitely I would say on par with Researcher and Barrel, which are, again, really good units. All three have ways to get Fallen Bear. Yeah, absolutely. All three have basically ways to get essentially every Aku enemies in the game. So it's just overall really, really nice. Oh, right. I should also probably touch on the Revenge of Empress Cat. The Rat of Empress Cat. Whoops, this is not the rat. Well, the Rat of Empress Cat, anyways, is as like any other rat, it's the exact same stage. But the rat's restriction, if I'm not mistaken, is special only and Ubers, right? Yeah, it's special and Ubers only. Which might sound scary for no Uber players, except we have like Little Island and Supercar, so it's actually not too terrible. Cactus is also a special cat, and also we have, you know, Bahamut Blast, so it's not too terrible actually, even if you play like special only. And Meatwave is really nice for sniping Malevolent Flying and Heinous Road. Yeah, I'd imagine so. I did thought about like if it's possible to like cheese Heinous Road with Brass Cat and like Fiend Cat, but I feel like it's probably gonna be really difficult and really RNG. But yeah, anyways, not everyone is invested in Little Talents, and not everyone is playing without Ubers. So, I mean, if you play without Ubers, you're probably gonna want to like invest on the talents, yeah. But if like most players are probably gonna play with Ubers anyways, so I feel like it's probably not gonna be that bad. But yeah, this is the Revenge stage. It's been a while since I've seen this, but from what I remember, yeah, the main enemies are Cappies. There's a Cappy, there's a Midnight D, and there's a Master A, but I believe they spawn like pretty separately. Yeah, Cappy's at 36 seconds, Midnight D at 96, and Master A at 123. I believe the general strat is to just fucking rush everything. Or rather, like, rush the Cappy first when it comes out, so that the Midnight D is alone, and then you rush the Midnight D using Bahamut Blast chain, and then you're just gonna have to deal with like chipping down Master A alone after that. I believe that's the general strat. Like, you're just gonna have to like rush the Cabby down before Midnight despawns, rush Midnight despawns before Master A spawn, and then you just chip down Master A. I believe that's how people play it. But yeah, that's the general stage. I'm not gonna go too in-depth on this because I can't. I have not actually played this, so I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to, like, spread misinformation. And I think with that, there's only one thing left. Ultra Form Tundia. We finally got the other side of the gay. We got Ultimate Windy. We finally got her Lebanese lover, the Ultra Form Tundia. She gets more clothes. Hell yeah. I feel like this is actually... I actually really like this design. I do really like the black and red. Black and red color combination is just really nice. Also, but what I do find kind of funny is her hair. Something about her hair. Something about her hair feels like she's old. Does that make sense? Like, her blue stripes in her hair feels kind of like an old man's, like, white hair. It feels like it makes her old for some reason. Although I'm pretty sure that's not the intention. I'm pretty sure the intention is just like her stripes to kind of appears like blue lightning. That's probably what it's supposed to be like. But for some reason, for me, it feels like she's getting old. The highlights that looks almost like graying. Yeah, that's what I feel. But yeah, so Ultraform Tundia is really fucking funny. Because the main thing that she got... Well, I'm just going to show the animation. If you already know, you know. But if you don't know, the main thing that she got... Just look at this animation. Boom! Boom! A second attack! She got a second long-range attack from one attack to two attacks. So she has a multi-hit now. With differing range. Let me change the stun modifier so it's easier to compare. Okay, so... No, we already have level 60, so let me compare it to like level 30. There we go. So her overall stats difference isn't actually that crazy from what I remember. But yeah, now she has two multi-hit. She now has a multi-hit attack. I believe, yeah, the second hit is slightly weaker than the first hit, but the second hit basically covers double of her range. Where she normally stands at 460 range, her first hit hits normally from 1 to 461. Her second hit goes from 460 to 920. It is really freaking far. It's actually insanely far. So the second hit basically lands where the first hit doesn't land. Bam, bam. It feels like it doesn't look that far, but it actually is really, really far. 920 Omni Strike. Her abilities are the same. She does have Survive and Immune to Slow and Weaken, but I feel like it's not super important. I mean, Survive is nice. Survive is absolutely great, but this is really insane change for Tundia. Just having a secondary attack that like is an extra LD to 920, that's like it's not even like extra damage, it's just like extra range basically. It's really, really good. I mean, it is extra damage too if you, with like the gap, like you can see there's a very noticeable gap between the first hit and the second hit. So if you knock the enemy back in the first hit, it will get hit by the second hit. So it actually does do extra damage on certain enemies if they get hit by both of them at the same time. Because it's very possible for enemies to get hit by both of them at the same time. It's really, really good. Windy has better niche. I don't know about that. I mean, Windy's good against floating, but like, I mean, I guess Tundia, you could argue like the typing is slightly worse. I would consider floating is definitely a much more threatening typing compared to red, but like Tundia getting LD is kind of insane. It is actually really, it's such a really good extra thing. Like, even like not just for reds, I feel like as a generalist, Tandia is better than Windy. I feel like that's for sure. As a generalist, Tandia is definitely better. But yeah, I guess like as a anti-floating, Windy is better because like floating is generally more threatening for sure. Regardless of niche, that damage is absurd. Yeah, like having extra damage and extra LD, like this is actually a very solid ultra form. This is a very solid ultra form. It is kind of funny though that they basically say it's like, oh yeah, of course, like the enemy that we have for like reds are Courier, and Courier have LD. So what do we give Tandia? A fucking extra LD attack, of course. Oh, also, yeah, she requires Gold Fruit to true form. It is a little bit expensive, but like, I think it's worth. I feel like it's worth. Besides, I have like 12 Gold Fruits running around that I don't really use for anything. So I feel like it's worth. It's worth. The Galaxy Gals, I feel like, are really getting like the good end of the stick for like ultra stuff. Ku gets really good ultra talent, Windy gets pretty solid ultra form, Tandia gets really solid ultra form. Okay, Coppermine Coppermine's kind of shafted. I mean, Coppermine, they did what they could to Coppermine, but unfortunately it's not enough. But yeah, Galaxy Gals, I feel like, are getting the generally good end of the stick for ultra stuff. They power creep LD with more LD. Yeah, basically. Which Nekaluga do you think would get an ultra form? Who already has an ultra talent? I don't even remember. Stop Coppermine slandering? I mean, I feel like even the most hardcore Coppermine fan would agree that Coppermine... They did what they could to Coppermine, but it's Coppermine. Ultralan has Ultra Talent? Only Ultra Talent? Oh, really? Only Ultralan? I mean, in that case... Who else are, like, the old ones? I guess, like, Bala... Does Balaluga... I feel like Picolan could get a really nice Ultra form. You forgot that if she hits and gets knocked back before the second hit, she attacks again. That is true. She does kind of have, like, that slight rebound, pseudo rebound ability thing. Well, not ability, but like, yeah, units with multi-hit, if they haven't finished their multi-hit, they would attack again if they get knocked back. And since Tandia have a very long time between her multi-hit, it is kind of likely that she gets knocked back before she finishes the multi-hit and she would attack again. That is kind of a funny thing. Now that we have Paladin Ultra Talent, the next candidate for Dynamites if Balrog is ulting, what are they gonna do? I mean, they could just give them, like, bat stuff, right? I mean, even then, I feel like bat stuff still would be good on Balrog, but, like, that's really the best way to do it. Shishi, my king, deserves a good, solid Ultra form. Shishi definitely would help with a good Ultra form. Just give him Omni Strike. Just give him Omni Strike. That's really all he needed. Or I guess, like, give him, like, I don't know, Wave or Search. Give him, like, Bikini Land Search. Give him Bikini Land Search. Fuck it. Why the hell not? Give him Bikini Land Search. That would be amazing. Give him Savage Blow. That could be also funny. But yeah. Anyways, I think that's about it for 14.4. There's really nothing else that I want to talk about. Overall... Oh, no. I forgot. Road to Unification. This is something that JP already had since like last year. This is JP's 12th anniversary. Well, not last year actually. Was it this year? This is JP's 12th anniversary event that got into EN without it being an anniversary. As some people might guess, some people believe that it's because this is a very Japan-centric event. It might not really make sense if this is a anniversary on global, and so they brought this as like a standalone event rather than anniversary, because this is a very, like, most of these are everything related to Japan stuff, so people are like, yeah, maybe for something that is not BCJP, it doesn't make sense. So it's like kind of its own event. There's a lot of really unique enemies here. You can see the Bun Bun at the back and the Hanya at the back. These are unique enemies in the event. There is a Hanya clone in the event, which is pretty interesting. Some of the event, I believe, don't really fuck around that much. I mean, most, like, if you're like an endgame player, then yeah, it's probably not hard at all. But I believe there are like some actual stages too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not an actual stage for like, you know, ZL players, but like maybe for like UL or like mid SOL players. There's like some actual stages here. Other than that, one of the units that drops from the event is this Lieutenant Cat and Commander Cat. This is basically Glass Cat without the Metal Body ability. This is a Glass Cat for red and floating, but or I guess kind of like Supercar Glass Cat question mark. So one of those. This is a Glass Cat slash Supercar slash Wafer Cat, but you have to actually protect it because it doesn't have any health. It is a rusher with 20 movement speed. It's not super fast, but it does attack immediately. So if you see here, it like charges in with its mouth open, and its attack is like pretty fast. Its attack is only 7 frame startup, and it has guaranteed chance to freeze enemies for 3 seconds. It's actually not too terrible, except that it has 48 seconds cooldown. Guaranteed chance to freeze and guaranteed chance to mini wave. That's neat. Maybe not if it's 48 seconds cooldown. If this has much lesser health, this would have actually been a somewhat nice unit. But the cooldown is so bad. The cooldown is so bad, and I feel like this is the only thing that's really holding him back. Cause like conceptually, a unit with like, yeah, sure, the movement speed isn't super fast, but like pretty fast attack animation, pretty fast attack startup. A unit with a pretty fast attack startup and like guaranteed chance to freeze with mini wave, that's pretty solid. But not with this cooldown, man. This cooldown is so bad. I don't know why they shafted him so bad. This could have been a nice unit otherwise, I feel like. Maybe there could be some stages where you can find usages out of him, where you really need to time like a pseudo freeze cannon on like certain enemies with red or floating. Then maybe, but even then, there's probably better options that are more consistent. So yeah. I'm sure there can be like some funny usages you can make out of him though. I can definitely see him being used for like really funny usages. There's definitely some funny ways to use him, but otherwise, yeah, he's not great because of the cooldown, unfortunately. True form halves the cooldown and then he's great. 24 seconds cooldown, I feel like it's still a little bit long. If he has like 16 seconds cooldown maybe, then I would say he's solid. I guess 20 something seconds cooldown could still be fine, but yeah. All he needs is less cooldown and he would be at least usable. I saw him getting used for Newton rushes and that's about it. Yeah, even then I'm pretty sure they're just using it kind of for a meme. But yeah, otherwise, it's mainly a meme unit. It's mainly a meme unit that could have usages, but still mainly a meme unit. Anyways, that's really about it for 14.4. I think that's all I really want to talk about for today. Is there anything that I want to talk about? I feel like not really. I guess it's not. I could go back to talk about Deltarune or some shit like that, but maybe not actually. There's something that I kind of debating that I want to talk about that I'm not really sure if I want to. Do I want to talk about this? Maybe I do. Maybe I do, actually. Okay. Well... Okay, Battlecats section has been over it. Battlecats section has been over it. Something that I kind of want to talk about. Can I get real for a little bit? I have not really been having a good month. Actually, I've not really been having a good, like, 3 months. I'm gonna get a little bit real here. My head has not really been on a good space for the past 3 months. I've been on an existential crisis. I've been on an existential crisis for the past 3 months. It's a bit of a long story. Well, actually, the short story. No, I don't even know if I can talk about the short story. It is a little bit long to talk about, but basically, I've been having a lot of thoughts about, well, existential stuff. If I go too deep into it, I feel like it's gonna get too depressing, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But yeah, there's been a lot of, like, the past 3 months, I've been getting this thought, like, keeping hammered to my head of, like, you know, stuff like, the shit that you don't matter, and it's like, it's not, you know, you're gonna get forgotten eventually, or shit like that. It's been rough, man. It's been a rough 3 months recently, but I do wish that I can chug along. I mean, it's been getting better. It was much worse. It was much worse. It's been getting better. So I'm sure I'll get better eventually, but it is a little bit of a slow burn, and it is a little bit of a painful burn, and I hope that I can get back to speed, and so that I can continue making more Battlecats videos. Well, I guess that's really what most people care about at this point, really, right? It's like, where's my fucking next Battlecats video? It's been a while since my next Battlecats video. Partially a big reason on why I haven't made Battlecats videos because of Deltarune, but another really big reason is really just because my headspace has not really been that great. And I feel like it hasn't really been stopping me too much in terms of, like, productivity, because the Tomators video was made entirely while I was on this headspace. The Tomators video was entirely made while I was being kind of, oh god, I'm having existential crisis, but I feel like I could have done better. I feel like the Tomators video could have done better too. Well, not Tomators, I mean weekend video. I feel like the weekend video could have been done better, and I feel like I could have been more productive with, like, the current anti-metal video that I'm working on too, if I were on a better headspace. But yeah, I just had to vent real quick. Need a break? Unfortunately, no. I mean, technically yes, but also no, because I really want to pursue YouTuber as a career as much as possible. And if I take a break, my income is going to drop really fast. I mean, even right now, I'm not even taking a break. I'm just playing Deltarune, and my income is already going down really fast because of Deltarune. If I take a break, I'm going to suffer in other ways. But again, I have been feeling better over the time. It's just like, it's not leaving. The existential crisis is not leaving. But it is getting better, but it's not leaving. So I think the best course of action right now is to still try to juggle both of them at once. Since it is getting better. If it's getting worse, then maybe I will take a break. But it's not getting worse, so I think it's fine. It's just been rough. And I kind of want to talk about it a little bit because I don't want to... I don't know, I feel like it's been bottled up for a while. And I've considered making a video about it, but I don't want to be... I don't want to put, like, suddenly depressing video in my feed, so I just want to mention it real quick on a stream, basically. That's really about it. But yeah, sorry if it's getting, like, real sappy. I know you're here for, like, Battlecats, but, like, I do want to at least mention that real quick, so that at the very least I don't have the feel that I need to talk about it again, you know? I just need to vent it out real quick. I feel like Battlecats is the game where you go into phases of being really into it and then not giving a fuck. There is, like, a graph for it, right? The graph of, like, oh shit, I don't know anything about this game, to, like, I'm really into this game, into, like, I don't really give a shit about this game, but I still like it. The algorithm of overlords, yeah. I have thought about, I guess I could, I don't know, like, open a Patreon or some shit like that. Cause, like, honestly, donations helps a fuck ton, and like donations helps a fuck ton because I live in Indonesia. Here's the thing, right? A $5 like how much is like a lunch in like America, like a proper I guess full meal in America? It's like what, like 10-15 bucks or some shit like that. But like in Indonesia, that would be like it would be like one third or 1/4 or 1/5 of that. So if like someone like $10 to $15, yeah, that sounds about right. In Indonesia, that would probably be like fucking $3 to $5 or something. Hey, I don't mean this as an invitation to donate, but thank you very much. How much is that? How much is NT 500? Thank you very much. Your mental health is more important than making video, for real. Take a break and think about getting professional help. No, I'm good. It's fine. I do wanna. Did you double that? Oh, that's an actual double. Oh, you actually accidentally sent a double. You might wanna get a refund. That's an actual double. You might wanna get a refund on that. I don't know how refund works. I'm gonna look up how to do a refund after this. It was accidental, but it's fine. No, get a fucking refund. How to refund YouTube super chat. How to do that? YouTube super chat payments are generally non-refundable. Oh. However, if you believe there was an unauthorized super chat purchase on your account, you can report it as unauthorized charge. Oh, I think you have to be the one to do the refund. Well, okay, I guess that's up to you then. Thank you very much. How much was that anyway? 500 NT is 17 bucks. That's quite a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's basically about 30 bucks. Thank you very much. But yeah, anyways, as I was saying, like $5, for example, like $10 in America, right? Like 10 USD is, well, 10 USD for you is 10 USD for you. 10 USD for you, 10 USD for me is almost basically like the living cost and the food cost, all things considered. It's basically like about triple of what it's worth in America, if that makes sense. Of course, like there's like you know, the conversion to what I have, but in terms of like how much things cost here, it's basically about as worth as like 3 or 4 times of what it's worth of what people donate. So I do wonder if it's maybe a good idea to open like a donation, to be more open with donations, I guess, because I don't generally really like donations, but thinking about it again, it's like, I guess if people are willing to donate and that would help me, I guess that would be nice. I guess that would be nice. Did you like the tenor with your Hibbit hat image that I made? It is pretty cute. Everyone have their moments when you speak on everything you had on your soul. Yeah. It's just nice to talk about it a little bit. Because I have considered talking about this for a long time, but I didn't really want to, like, worry people too much or something, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, I guess I am now making you guys worry. I'm sorry about that. But at the very least, I'm not making people super panic. If I make, like, a whole video about it, I feel like people are really gonna panic. So I don't want that. Because even then, it's like, it's not even that bad. Like, yes, I have existential crisis, but it's not like I've come to like a depression where I like starve myself and I can't sleep or anything. It's like, no, I still sleep pretty normally most of the time. I still sleep pretty normally. I still like go to work. I still like meet my family. I still eat normally. I still do everything normally. I was still generally as productive as ever. It's just generally annoying. It's mostly annoying. That's basically it. Have you thought of Ko-Fi? I don't really know the difference, to be honest, of like Ko-Fi or Patreon or some shit like that. I don't really know the difference. I mean, I guess they're both basically similar, right? I don't know what people would generally use. I guess maybe one day I could ask, like, I could make like a poll of like which one are like preferred for people. I don't really understand which one's better. I'll do my own research at some point. I'm sure, probably. I don't know when, but I might do my own research at some point. But yeah. Anyways, that's 14.1. That's 14.4 discussion. It's been like 50% 14.4, and then like 40% of like Deltarune, and another 10% of me talking about depressing stuff. The amount of 14.4 discussion in the 14.4 stream is surprisingly low. But thank you so much for sticking around, even though it's been mostly Deltarune and not Battlecat stuff. I think that's about it. I don't think I have anyone to rate or anything currently, so hey, if you wanna check out like Deltarune videos, I have a Deltarune supercut on my channel that's like 11 hours long, so there's that. So little stuff in 14.4. I mean, it is mostly Sonic, and Sonic is a pretty big fucking deal. But yeah, aside from Sonic, there wasn't that much stuff. But like, the amount of stuff I feel like is little, but the worth of the stuff is pretty big in my opinion. Because it's Sonic and Mewton, and both of them are really good. And also Ultra Form Tundia. I feel like all of these are really solid stuff. It's not much, but it's all solid stuff. It's not bad. It's not a bad update, I would say. It's not big, but it's what's the word? It's like meaningful, I guess. I don't know what's the exact word. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. Thank you for coming to the stream. Deltarune is an amazing game. It absolutely is. I just like to stream, and will you do streaming Deltarune again anytime soon? I feel like maybe not. I don't know what else to stream about Deltarune. I might make Deltarune videos. I don't know about streams. I don't know what would I stream again in Deltarune. Videos I might do. Streams, I don't know about that. We'll see about that. We'll see. Oh, right. Speaking of Deltarune, actually another game that I kind of have been meaning to get into, but I haven't, is Undertale Yellow. I have not seen anything about that. I mean, I've seen like fan arts about it. I've obviously, you know, I've seen Clover dancing and shit like that. But other than that, I actually have not seen anything about Undertale Yellow, and I'm actually kind of interested in checking that out one day. Anyways, that is about it. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hearing me yap about Deltarune and my life. Thank you for the support. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you. Goodbye. See ya. Bye-bye. I hope you have a nice day. I hope you also do not have existential crisis or some shit. I don't fucking know. But yeah, anyways, bye. Thank you.